The courtroom was packed before the morning sun had even brushed the marble steps outside. A line of paparazzi, bloggers, social media sleuths, and cloud chasers stretched around the block, phones charged, cameras ready, waiting to witness the most unexpected showdown in recent reality TV history. This wasn't just another legal dispute. This was a full-blown, high-stakes collision between Tasha K, the queen of viral controversy, and Bambi, the reality star turned media underdog too. Women who had ruled the timeline for weeks, and now stood ready to confront each other under oath. The energy in the air was electric, buzzing with conspiracy theories, leaked screenshots, and wild guesses about what receipts might come out in court. People weren't here for justice. They were here for a spectacle. Tasha K arrived first, flanked by her legal team and moving like a woman who believed the press was her audience, and the sidewalk her stage. Dressed in a sharp black power suit with sunglasses that screamed unbothered. She paused long enough for a few camera flashes to catch her signature smirk. Behind her, two assistants carried binders marked Exhibit C, medical file, and incident timeline. It was part strategy, part performance. Live streams picked it up instantly. Comment sections blew up. She walking like it's her Netflix doc premiere. One TikTok user wrote, "This not court hits the butt. Awards for betrayal," said another. Meanwhile, parked down the street in a blacked-out SUV, Bambi sat in utter silence. No glam squad, no cameras, just her lawyer, her manager, and a single USB drive in her clutch, the one piece of evidence she knew could flip this case on its head. Her nails tapped rhythmically on the leather seat. Her reflection in the rearview mirror looked calm, but inside, her heart was pounding. She knew how messy the internet could be. She knew that even if she won in court, she could still lose in public. But this time, she had the truth. She wasn't here for ratings. She was here for revenge. When Bambi finally stepped out, the scene shifted like the opening of a drama series. She wore a muted beige coat, subtle makeup, and a face that told the world she wasn't there to play into anyone's narrative. She didn't stop for pictures. She didn't wave at fans. She walked straight into that courtroom like she was walking into war. As both women entered the same building, the press lost its mind. Reporters shouted overlapping questions. YouTubers went live. Even V1's own digital media intern was seen sneaking photos from a side door. This wasn't just a trial. It was the climax of a story that had been building on blogs, group chats, and Instagram lives for months. Inside, the courtroom crackled with whispers. AVH1 producer sat quietly in the back, pretending to scroll his phone, but secretly recording everything for internal documentation. The judge entered and silence fell like a curtain. The clerk called the case. Both women rose. This was it. Tasha K's team opened first, spinning a narrative of pain, betrayal, and irreparable damage. They painted Bambi as a volatile celebrity, with a history of lashing out, and Tasha as a journalist who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. They showed medical reports, blurry screenshots of alleged injuries, and a series of dramatic photos that made Tasha look like the poster child for victimhood. But then, everything changed. Bambi's lawyer stood, calm and unbothered. "Your Honor, what we're about to show you will not only change the outcome of this case," she said, "but expose a manipulation so calculated it deserves its own reality show." And then came the flash drive marked confidential, production only. The projector whirred to life, the screen lit up, and there it was, a Zoom call dated weeks before the incident. In the recording, AVH1 producer could be heard saying to Tasha K, "If she swings, we own the whole season, just let her walk into it, we'll cover you legally." The room gasped. Reporters dropped their pens. Even the judge leaned back in his chair. Tasha K's face, once smug, now frozen in panic. Her lawyer stammered objections. But it was too late. The clip had already been authenticated, submitted by an anonymous whistleblower who had once been part of the show's scheduling team. The judge nodded. "Let it stand as evidence." Bambi sat stone-faced. She didn't blink, because what came next was just as damning. Her team rolled out pages of emails, call logs, and text messages, producers discussing how to frame Bambi as the villain, how to light the scene for more drama, even advising Tasha on how to cry on cue. It wasn't just a fight. It was a trap, and now, under oath, it was unraveling in front of everyone. By the time recess was called, the courtroom no longer felt like a place of law. It felt like a scene from the reunion show they never aired. And Bambi, she walked out of that courtroom like she had just flipped the script. The next morning, the courthouse didn't just open, it detonated. Headlines had already branded this trial the most unhinged court battle in reality TV history. YouTubers dropped reaction videos before dawn. TikTok was flooded with reenactments of the leaked Zoom call. Hashtag Tasha vs Bambi trended for the second day straight, with people arguing in the comments like their Wi-Fi bills depended on it. But while the internet raged with theories, memes, and think pieces, Bambi and her team were back in court, armed with something even heavier than receipts. They had motive. And today, they were going to prove it. As court reconvened, Bambi's lawyer wasted no time. "Your Honor," she said, "what we are about to submit will make it undeniably clear that this was not a spontaneous altercation. This was premeditated media manipulation." Then came the next bombshell. Screenshots of private messages sent by Tasha K just 5 days before the fight. In one message, she told a production assistant, "Make sure that mirror angle is clean if she even raises her voice. I want my clip to go viral." Another text sent to a media contact said, "I'll give you exclusive rights to my reaction video. We just need the drama to pop off." The gallery gasped. Jurors leaned forward. Even the court reporter paused, typing for a beat. Bambi's manager, seated beside her, whispered, "They're falling apart." But Bambi didn't flinch. She kept her gaze steady, her posture calm. She had seen this kind of trap before on set, in editing bays, in manipulated reunion segments. She knew how easily stories could be rewritten. This trial wasn't just about proving her innocence, it was about taking back the pen. Across the aisle, Tasha K looked shaken. Her eyes darted from the evidence screens to her lawyer's notes. Then came their last-minute attempt to claw back public sympathy. A freshly printed medical report, claiming long-term nerve damage in Tasha's hand from the alleged attack. Her team even played a voicemail, where Tasha broke down in tears, claiming she couldn't type, couldn't hold a mic, couldn't work. This injury, her lawyer said, has cost her livelihood. And yet, just as the jury was starting to shift, Bambi's attorney stood again, cool, precise, brutal. "We'd like to submit a live video," she said, streamed by Ms. Kiefer days ago. The projector played the footage. Tasha K, laughing, typing on a laptop, holding a wine glass, tapping her phone with both hands. No braces, no trembling, just business as usual. The courtroom fell silent. A few muffled chuckles rose from the back row. The judge shook his head. "We'll take a short recess outside." The courthouse had turned into a full-blown media circus. Fans waved signs. Protesters chanted. A random influencer showed up pretending to be a legal analyst just for clout. Meanwhile, inside the cafe next door, Bambi and her team sat in a booth, watching their own legal takedown unfold online. They really thought they could script a breakdown, her lawyer muttered. Bambi sipped her tea and replied, "They forgot I'm not a character. I'm the consequence." Back in court, things escalated. A new witness had arrived. A former field producer, young, nervous, and escorted by legal counsel, stepped onto the stand. "I was told to bait Bambi," she testified. "They wanted her to snap. They said we'd get better ratings if she looked like the villain. I didn't think it would go this far." Her voice cracked. The courtroom shifted. Even Tasha K seemed stunned. This wasn't some ex-intern or bitter extra. This was someone who had been in the meetings. The jury listened intently as the producer described being pressured to manipulate scene setups, add fake call sheets, and even leak content to blogs. The judge leaned forward. "Are you telling this court that reality TV production staff coordinated false narratives that endangered cast members?" The young producer nodded. "Yes, sir, and I have emails." Murmurs exploded. One juror covered her mouth. The prosecution team scrambled to respond. But the damage was already viral. Live blogs were already posting. Influencers were already reacting. And Bambi's face was already trending with captions like, "Queen of Comebacks." What started as a simple lawsuit had now spiraled into something else unexposed, a reckoning. And maybe even the beginning of the end for how reality television operated. And for Bambi, this wasn't just redemption. It was revenge served in court documents and projector screens. By the third day, the courthouse wasn't just a courtroom, it was a cultural battleground. Fans had begun organizing like political protesters, one side waving signs that read "Justice for Tasha," while the other chanted "Bambi exposed." The game reporters arrived in droves, networks dispatched mobile news vans, and VH1 quietly dispatched security to monitor crowd control. Inside, even the air felt heavier, like everyone knew the truth was about to land with the force of a wrecking ball. Bambi entered without makeup, without a glam team, and without a single staged photo. She looked like a woman who had seen every version of betrayal and was still standing. Meanwhile, Tasha K arrived late. No signature smirk, no pep in her step, just silence. Her team avoided eye contact with the press, but everyone saw the cracks. The confidence was gone. What remained was desperation, and Bambi smelled it inside the courtroom. The final blow was delivered in less than 5 minutes. Bambi's lawyer submitted one final piece of evidence, an audio clip captured from a producer's personal device, obtained legally through subpoena. The voice was unmistakable. Tasha K, laughing. "I told y'all she'd snap. Soon as she does, I'm turning This into my YouTube series, this lawsuit gone pay for my next bag, the courtroom fell still. Dead still. You could hear hearts drop. One juror audibly gasped. Tasha K's lawyer objected furiously. Claiming the audio was doctored, the judge paused, examined the metadata, and then calmly ruled admissible. At that point, the case wasn't just tipping. It had already collapsed. The jury no longer needed convincing. They needed closure. But Tasha K's team made one last-ditch effort to salvage the wreckage. "We'd like to explore a settlement," her attorney whispered during sidebar. "This doesn't have to go public." But Bambi didn't blink. She turned to her manager and shook her head. "She made it public the minute she monetized my name, and with that, it was over." The court recessed for deliberation. But it didn't take long. When the judge returned, his tone was exhausted but resolute. "This court finds that the lawsuit filed by Ms. Key was an abusive process, designed not to seek justice but to fuel personal gain through false narrative and media manipulation." He didn't just dismiss the case, he sanctioned Tasha K for damages, issued fines for court misconduct, and barred her from publicly discussing the trial terms under penalty of contempt. The courtroom exploded. Some cried, some clapped, others just sat, stunned, watching a giant fall. Tasha K was escorted out the back, no cameras, no victory speech, just silence. Her channels went dark that evening. Her sponsorship deals evaporated within 48 hours. A major platform demonetized her back catalog, and every video she'd ever made about Bambi suddenly aged like sour milk. But Bambi? She didn't say a word. No Instagram live, no shade tweet. She didn't even make a celebratory post. She simply left the courtroom, hand in hand with her team, walking down those courthouse steps into a different kind of fame, the kind built on surviving a narrative built to destroy her. Her silence became louder than any clapback. The internet crowned her a warrior. Memes flooded the timeline, calling her queen of receipts. One TikTok even dubbed her the woman who took down the whole set. What people didn't see was Bambi sitting in her car afterwards, finally allowing herself to cry. Not from sadness, but from release, from years of gaslighting, betrayal, and being reduced to sound bites and edits. This wasn't just a courtroom win. It was her life, her name, her truth validated. By sunset, the news had spread far beyond the fandom bubble. National headlines picked it up. Industry insiders whispered that multiple VH1 execs had gone off-grid. Behind the scenes, internal investigations were launched. Former cast members began speaking out, emboldened by the ruling. And while Bambi stayed quiet, the world kept talking. Because what happened in that courtroom wasn't just the end of a lawsuit, it was the beginning of accountability.